I have a cylindrical water tank and I'm going to paint it on the inside and the out. And when we say that it's cylindrical, what we really mean is that we have this sort of a pancake shaped to the tank. And the first thing that I have to decide after I make my wall nice and straight is how many of each surface I need. So the way that you're going to remember how to do this problem is if you wanted to take, say, a can of beer, maybe some Coors, to the park. You're not supposed to have alcohol in the park. We're going to hide our can. And the way that we're going to do it is we are going to cut the side, get something like a Diet Coke can or maybe a Dr. Pepper can, and we're going to cut up the side. We're going to cut around the top and the bottom, and we're going to open this thing up. And what we end up with is a circle on the top and a big rectangular shaped piece, and then also another circle on the bottom. So then you can take your rectangle that says Dr. Pepper and wrap it around that Coors Light can, and you're good. Nobody knows you're drinking beer. The reason that I tell you this is because drawing that line up the side and kind of taking this thing apart is what makes it easier for us to do the problem. Okay, the tank is 20 feet tall, which means that this dimension here on the side is 20 feet, and it is 60 feet in diameter. So that's this dimension here across my circle. That's 60 feet. Okay, so far so good. The first thing that we have to decide is we need to find the area of the circle, and we also need to find the area of the rectangle. How many circles do we need? Well, let's see. I need the top of the tank, and I need also the inside of the top of the tank, and I need the inside of the bottom of the tank. So it looks like I need 3 circles. So we're going to find the area of the circle. Now the area of a circle is 0.785 times the diameter squared. Okay, and what that means is I'm just going to plug in the pieces that I know. So I've got an area. Here's my 0.785. Whoop, there's the rest of my 7. 0.785 times my diameter, which is 60 feet, times my diameter again. Okay, that's what that little times, that little squared term means up here, is just that I need 2 of those. Okay, that's all that means. So I'm going to put this into my calculator, and I find that the area of the circle pieces is 0.785 times 60 feet times 60 feet again is 2,826 square feet. But that's for only one. I need to multiply this by 3 to find the total area of all 3 of them. So when I multiply by 3, I find that I have, just for the circles part of this tank, just the lid and the bottom, 8,478 square feet. Okay, so that's good. So now I have the area of this piece up here that I need to paint, and I have this area of the bottom that I need to paint. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to find the area of this rectangle here. Now normally the area of a rectangle is going to be the length times the width. Okay, well they gave me the width of the rectangle. Okay, that's just the depth of the tank, my 20 feet. But the length is a little bit more complicated because they didn't actually give me a number here. But you know what they did tell me about this is, doesn't this length here on my rectangle, doesn't that length have to be the same as the length around the outside of the circle? It does. If it didn't, then it wouldn't work out to cut my can open and use it to hide my beer. So if I can find the circumference or the perimeter of the circle here, then I will know what the length of the rectangle is. Okay? Now, the perimeter or the circumference of a circle, which is that distance around, is pi times the diameter. So P for perimeter, and pi, we're just going to use 3.14. You might have a pi button actually on your calculator, and if you use that pi button, you're going to get a slightly different answer. But we're going to use 3.14, and I'm going to multiply that by my diameter, which is 60 feet. Okay, so if I do that and I find the perimeter, 60 times 3.14 is 188.4 feet. Okay, so what I just found is the length, the length on this side of that rectangle. So now I have both the length and the width, so I can go ahead and solve this thing and plug those numbers right back in there. Okay, so we're going to find the area of the rectangle. So the area of the rectangle is going to be that 188.4 feet that I just found, and the width is my 20 feet, which they gave me as the depth of the tank. So this will be times 20 feet. So the area of the rectangle ends up being 3,768, and that's square feet, but I need to paint the inside and the outside of the tank, so I need two of those. I'm going to multiply that by 2, and I find that the area of the rectangles is 7,536 square feet. Okay, so now I have the area of the circles, and I also have the area of the rectangles. So as our last step here, I'm going to take my 8,478 square feet that I had for my circles, and I'm going to add to that the 7,536 square feet. Sorry, both of these are square feet. I'm going to add those two things together and find that the total area to be painted is 16,014 square feet. This is the answer that we're looking for, the 16,014. Now, occasionally, this problem will go one step further. They might say something like, if one can of paint covers 200 square feet, so if one can of paint covers 200 square feet, then how many cans of paint do I need? So let's go ahead and figure that out. We're going to use our little railroad track again, and I'm going to start with my 16,014 square feet that I need to paint, and because I've got square feet up here on the top, I need to put square feet down on the bottom, and for every 200 square feet I need 1 can of paint. Okay, so if you remember, everything that's above the line gets multiplied, everything that's below the line gets divided, and I'm just going to make sure very quickly that my units cancel, and I've got square feet on the top canceling with square feet on the bottom, and it just leaves me with cans, which is what I want right there. So I'm going to take my 16,014 square feet, divide that by 200, and I find that I need 80.07 cans of paint. So in a test situation, if my answers were 80 and 81 and 83, I would probably pick 81 because I do need just a little bit more than 80 cans of paint.